that it?
That's it. And then
Okay.
let's give it 1 sec. Go ahead, you can put that back on.
All right, thanks.
You can just close that out.
All right. I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
So, I mean, again, I know this is not definitive or cause and effect, but
Slide.
I will tell you that it would have been nice to have a better idea what we were doing. None of the board members had formal training or anything. We just did the best we could. So I'm inclined to support the bill and making it mandatory unless somebody's got some great reason that doesn't think it should be. I'm open to hearing the other side, but I'm inclined to support it as it stands.
Okay. Melissa.
So I was just kind of thinking based off of what Ann and DFH were saying. I think it would be good to have. I'm wondering if it could be like based off of a composition. I know it would not be everyone, but maybe there's certain posts that you would have to do the training to be on it. I know that creates perhaps like a 2-tier system, but if there's concern about people not wanting to be a part of the board and there's a lack of interest, then I wonder if one way to do it is like there's certain positions where this is, if it's a composition of 12, perhaps half have to maintain a certification of training that is outlined in this legislation. I would be okay with not having that, let me be clear, but if there is a compromise, I wonder if that may be a complicated compromise, but I wonder if that could be something that could work.
Okay. Jen Terasa.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm really torn because I really see the need for this. I have definitely seen problems. I agree there's a big problem with board members sort of needing training, and I have wished that there was more of our boards had training, but I'm concerned about a number of things, including that they would have to pay for it. I'm concerned.
Well, let me cut you off, but they don't have to pay for it. Like I said, there are 2 organizations right now where the training is free: Montgomery County CCOC and Prince George's County CCOC.
And can anybody take those there, and do they have to go there to do it? Or
no, it's virtual.
It's virtual. Okay, that's good to know. That does help. But also, what if no one on the board, if you can't get anyone to do it, then you would just not have a board? And so like, I do like Delegate Healy's thought about a carrot, not a stick. I know just making it available has not been enough. I don't know if maybe requiring counties to establish requirements about training, or I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box in terms of how to get more people trained. I don't know, but I'm not inclined to support it as it is right now. I'm just too concerned that you'd end up not. I've just seen too many times not being able to get people to serve, and I understand about that. So
and that's my concern too. I don't want the thing to go the opposite direction. That is not my
I am
desire.
torn, though. I'm really glad you brought it up, though, because it is so important. I do think the fact that hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll have licensing of the management companies. That should help. But it does. It does help too. That's when I thought our meeting was at 6. I think that'll help, but certainly having educated boards would help too. But I just don't think I could support it the way it is. Thanks.
I really appreciate that, Jen. Mary?
Yeah, can you hear me? I think you answered my question, Marvin, about the training being virtual. Is that since the pandemic, and will that definitely continue? Do you know the virtual training? Because I could see that be a barrier.
That was prior to the pandemic, and it's going to continue that way. Okay,
good to know. Yeah, I think both Ann and Jen make good points about the carrot versus the stick. Question about what your intention is for the training requirement to sort of kick in? Would it be on the front end before somebody could even serve on a board? What about maybe saying, you know, and whether this will solve any problems at all, I'm not even sure, but so that it's not a deterrent to someone serving. What about, you know, giving a window of, you know, within 12 months or something? And I don't even know what the average term is on a board, if it's only a year, or if it's more like 2 years, but within 9 to 12 months or something like that, that, you know, that board members would, whether it's be required to or encouraged to complete this training.
So you're suggesting that after they get elected, then a certain time period kicks in?
Yeah, just so it's not like it's not like an entry sort of, if you will, the cost of, you know, of joining, that it doesn't act as a deterrent, you know, or discourage people in the front end thinking, oh boy, you know, I'm not ready for that level of commitment, or didn't know it was going to involve this. I mean, some, you know, however we do this, the you know, outreach piece is going to be a challenge. I think the fact that, you know, that Delegate Terrazza has been as active as she's been over the years in, you know, a neighboring county, and Howard, and not even realizing that Montgomery and Prince George's offer this training is pretty telling. So clearly there's, you know, a lot of work to be done on getting the word out. I do think it helps that it's free. It's a huge help that it's virtual, but you know, as is too, I think the biggest challenge is, you know, what the issue that Delegate Terrazza raised, and there's no answer for it. What if everybody just says, I'm not getting that training? And then, you know, what do you do about it? You're not gonna, I don't know if you have a penalty in here, you're not gonna fine people. I mean, I guess you can say, well, then you can't serve, but then you could have a board with no one on it. So that's it.
Can I ask or add something? It looks like the chair is paused.
That's a problem.
Well, I could be the chair for, you know, time being. But I'm just curious, what if it's something where like the board, you know, similar to employers will do sexual harassment training. What if it's like something that the board will do as a collective, maybe every so often? But I know folks may feel strongly about it still being legislated, but I'm just thinking like if it's just required that the board together does it, maybe that could help. I don't know.
I don't know, Matt, do you have any direction for us? Do you have any suggestions on how to continue without the, without the chair?
Let me put myself on mute, call Delegate Holmes and see what the issue might be. I do see that Shirley or either Shirley or Trish is still here because the ENT HRP stream is up. Let me just double check what's going on. So your indulgence, please.
Can I entertain while we're waiting? Or do I have to wait for?
Are you entertained?
I'll defer to Healy. I think she's the most senior delegate in here right now.
I'll be honest, it's not my meeting. I'm just staff.
We're just,
Lisa, are you not entertained?
Yeah, Vice Chair Gilly, may I make a quick?
I'm not a vice chair of this subcommittee, but I guess I'm the senior person.
Now you are.
Well, we're just giving you that title right now. You're the.
Okay,
No.
acting.
All right, I'm back. I don't know what. I don't know what the heck happened. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. All
Mr.
right.
Chair, the Vice Chair said I could speak.
No, I didn't.
All right. So we left.
I didn't get that far.
So I left off, and it's Barry. Is Barry here?
Right here.
All right.
I was mostly.
Finally got in.
I
I'm
was
sorry,
just echoing
Matthew.
Delegate Terrazza's concern about that you wouldn't get anybody to serve if you made it mandatory. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matthew.
I do
Well,
think it's
all I was going to say was I think you had dropped out of the meeting before Delegate Wells had asked a question. So Delegate Wells, maybe you may want to repeat her question for your benefit.
Sure.
Okay.
So what I was raising is there was so we really feel strongly that there should be some kind of training. Could we just require that, like, the board has a meeting every so often, like maybe every 2 years, where someone comes in and provides training to the entire board? So it's really kind of, it's educational for everyone, and it's not something that people have to take on independently.
Well, I'd
Mr. Chairman,
that's Mr. Gary.
am I on?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't you make the point, or someone else did, that it's very difficult to find people to do this, period, without requiring certain activities and programs to go through? Am I correct?
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bill Wyville. Let me get a couple
Yeah,
of
I
people.
want to, first of all, I want to know what alphabet you're following, because you've been all over the board.
No, I'm going alphabetical. Oh, you're right. I am going all over the board. I'm so sorry. I'm following my list. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
This is a tough crowd.
I've heard the term
We actually
property
listen.
managers and board members used interchangeably. Who are we trying to have training for?
Board members.
Property
Board members.
managers or board
Board
members?
members. Board members. Board members.
Okay, so are property managers, do they have licensing requirements and education requirements now?
All you have to do to be a property manager is go to Staples.
Okay,
right.
I heard you say that.
Hard.
When were the land grants established?
King Charles I, 1632.
Please stop
So,
on the bill, please.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so you're saying, I heard you use Prince George's County, Montgomery County CCOCs, but so you're telling me somebody from Western Maryland could log into Prince George's or Montgomery and take their training without being a member of anything in Montgomery, Prince George's County?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay, and what are the training requirements? So I know in a lot of professions, you have to have a certain number of hours per year.
Nothing. There are no requirements to take the certification courses for board member training. No
But
requirements
how many
whatsoever.
hours, what does it encompass, and how many hours a year? How long is the training good for?
In the bill, I think it says, I think it says the certificate is good for 3 years.
And how many hours of training is required to get the certificate?
The training is 4 hours. I think it's about 4 hours, all online. Maybe, I think it's about right. Karen, is
There's
that
no
right?
exemptions. No exemptions for attorneys, CPAs, licensed real estate agents, none
No.
of that.
That is not in the bill. Hang on a second, Bill. Karen, how long is the training at Prince George's CCOC?
I believe that I was told that the training could be done in about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay, there you go. There you go.
All right.
All right.
I still have concerns about because my affiliation is with a very small association.
I
We
got it.
can't even get people to serve as officers, let alone getting a quorum in it. And I just think if we had training requirements, you're going to drive these small associations to basically hiring property managers, and it just drives up the cost for them.
There's no cost. Okay. All right. I got you.
No, it's going to drive up the cost, and that they're going to be forced to use a property manager for their meetings because you're not going to get board members to sign up. Now, I know you said Montgomery County experience is different, but just I don't see
Okay.
it.
Hang on a second. Neil, is he there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Very good. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the conversation. I think everyone has offered some really good pointers in a direction to go. My concern is also about the HOA I'm familiar with. It's hard to get people to serve. But, I think people would have welcomed the chance to take the class if they knew about it. With the carrot versus the stick. I wonder if it's a way that we could ask the local counties or whoever is in contact with these HOAs to let them know about this training and even to encourage the training without necessarily requiring it. You know, once they're in, I think some of these folks that are on the boards would like to have that kind of training. And if it wasn't a requirement, they would go on their own initiative, perhaps, if they knew about it. But I can tell you, our board has no idea this class is even out there.
Okay, I appreciate that. Now I got a couple of hands up. Let me do this before I get to David and then get to Mary. Let me do this and let me ask for some of the stakeholders if they have anything that they want to talk about. I see Karen's hand up, and then we'll go to Lisa. Okay, Karen, there you go.
It is a concern that you might have people that don't want to do it, but one way you might think about the compromise that Delegate Wells was talking about is a compromise in which where you say maybe only the officers of the board have to get the training. And then most people don't come in and become an automatic officer. Most people come in as a director, and this would give them a period of time to be part of the association, see the value of being part of the board, and then have to get the training or even get it before that.
That's an idea, because currently the bill says board of directors or an officer. So I could strike board of directors and just leave it as an officer. That's what you're saying, Karen. All right.
Yes.
Lisa?
So CAI has looked at this, and they actually looked at it not just in Maryland, but nationally. And I know that I'm repeating some of the points that were already made, but it's a real concern that HOAs and condos right now, it's very hard for them to get people to serve. And this idea of mandatory training has actually, it's been proven to discourage people from serving on the boards in other states. And it also could cause litigation and other, unanticipated controversies to communities where you find people that are on the board didn't do the training, and it could, end up in some form of litigation. And then we're also hearing, because as you did, they checked with some of their members in Montgomery County, and the feedback that they got from the training that was online is that it was not as accessible as they thought it would be, because there's not enough spots for it. The feedback was that they don't have enough, I guess, I don't know if there's, like a certain amount of days or times that someone can be a part of the training, even though it's for an hour, but they only have the capacity to allow a certain amount of people in.
Well, in Montgomery County, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, in Montgomery County, if you're going to be on a board, it's mandatory to have the training.
No, I didn't say it wasn't mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the members of CAI are saying that the online training that's offered, they said it in some cases has not been available for several months for them to get a slot to do the online training.
Okay.
So,
okay. I appreciate that,
and
Lisa.
CAI is really big on training, and they love the intent of the bill, but they just believe that it's going to have unintended consequences that you don't want.
Let me go to Jen, and then David, and then we're going to close out and go to another bill. Jen?
Yeah, it was just a small point about what Karen said, is that, and I forget the distinction you made, it was between officers and members of the board of directors, or
Yes, currently in the legislation, it says board of directors and officers, and those are two different, you could be on the board. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I would, like, conceptually, yes, I think it should just be the officers, but because the associations that I've dealt with, and I was trying to deal with all the associations in my council district when I was on the council, I didn't know many that went past they were begging to get the officers. They didn't really have officers plus more members. I mean, maybe some of the larger ones like like Maple Lawn or like that kind of like a larger HOA that was like a huge, huge one. But for the most part, ones that are like somewhere between 20 and 50 and 100 or 150 homes, they didn't really have officers plus more board members. They were lucky to get enough to have officers. Thanks.
Thanks, Jen. David, and this after David, we're gonna shut this thing down. After David.
Okay, I mean, the good thing about you calling on me first is I'm able to give you my opinion in the beginning, and now I'm able to give you my opinion in the end.
And that's good, and I appreciate that. I really do.
So this is what I would say. If this is really, a 4-hour training, nobody's going to take that. Even if it's an hour and a half, I think that is a really, really big ask. I do know for schools to go on field trips, people have to do a video, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's pretty quick and it lasts between 20 and 30 minutes. If there is a way to distill this training where you don't actually have to have a person, but it's like a tutorial training with questions, and you can do it in 25 or 30 minutes, then I think the bill has merit. If it's going to last longer than that, and there's going to be problems where it's more interactive and it's going to be harder to do it when you don't put your kids to bed and then jump on at 11 o'clock and do a quick 25-minute certification, I just don't see how it's going to be very useful unless we can distill it down so it's tutorial, and unless we can distill it down within 25 or 30 minutes, I just don't know how this bill really is. People are going to want to do. I think people are going to be deterred.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate all of your input, because I sincerely just wanted to get some insight in terms of what I should do with this thing, and that's why I wanted to ask the questions. And I recognize that all of us have 9,628 other things we need to do, but I really want to get your input on this. We're going to go past this bill. And now we're going to go to the last bill of the night. Is Kristen on here? Kristen?
Yeah, Kristen's here.
I see her on there.
Okay.
Okay.
So the last bill we're going to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, is HB 129. And HB 129 is that mold bill that was introduced by Delegate Henson. And I think that Delegate Henson has done a great job on her other two bills. This bill, however, requires a mandatory lead inspection. I'm sorry, lead inspection. That's different bill. Mandatory mold inspection. And there is some discussions in the bill from the fiscal note that suggests that this bill might increase expenditures by several $1 million. The number of the millions is kind of questionable.
That is, Delegate Holmes, that is the fiscal note should have been corrected and available online. It was, that first year was 660,000. It was confusing, but it was a typo.
Oh, so it's not 660,000. It's not 660 million. It's 660,000.
Yeah, that was a mistake. So
all right.
But then the out years, it's close to, I think, like 900,000 each year.
Okay.
For the department to implement. It's still a significant fiscal note.
So does anyone need to vote for this bill?
Is this still Delegate Henson's bill?
Yes.
I'd like to vote for it.
All right, let's first off start out with the motion. Let's take it through the regular procedures. All right, I do not hear a motion. Is there a motion on this bill?
Approval.
I'm sorry?
Move approval. Move approval.
Oh, my goodness.
What did she say? What she said?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, hang on. I got a which I was not expecting. Motion.
Was that not what you were asking for? I apologize.
No,
he was asking for somebody to move unfavorable or not move at all. If everybody says nothing, then
I moved approval.
All right. So hang on. We got to follow procedures here. Delegate Wells moved a favorable motion. Is that correct, Delegate Wells?
I think that was me.
Delegate
Oh,
Terrassa.
wait,
Yeah.
since you made that motion, Delegate Terrassa, you can withdraw your motion if you'd like.
So I'm so sorry. What exactly did Taras?
I moved approval of the bill.
Okay, yes, which is saying move favorable, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So I second it. I'm seconding the move or the motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Delegate, and motion is favorable.
Is the question?
And there's a second. And there's a second. Delegate Celebrity.
Is there a question? There is a question. Is that in order? Well, here's the deal. If we are inspecting lead paint, which I've heard for years and years, and we are inspecting for lead paint, in the process of inspecting for lead paint, am I to assume they can't see mold?
Well, let me be very specific on mold. If you see something that looks like mold and it's black, you cannot determine if it's mold unless you get a testing on it, because a lot of times.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So let's do this. We have a motion favorable in a second. I'm going to go through the list and take a vote. The chair votes no. Delegate Silla, I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to go down the list right here. The chair votes no. Delegate Siliberti.
No.
David Fraser Hidalgo.
No.
Delegate Healy.
No.
Delegate Lehman.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes. Yes. I don't think I'm muted. Yes. I don't think.
Delegate Parrott.
No.
Delegate Wyville.
No.
Bill fails.
I'm shocked.
Shocked.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I am really, sincerely, very appreciative.
Do we
of that
need to
discussion.
move that bill unfavorable, Marvin?
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Marvin.
Bye.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Carry on. Ciao.